time to go big or go home with the division manager of primary residential mortgage in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Now, here's the entrepreneur and mortgage extraordinaire himself, James Harper.
What would your mama say?
Go big or go home.
Welcome everyone, this is James Harper from Primary Residential Mortgage, and I'm here with my good friend Blake Duncan for our next episode of Go Big or Go Home. Thanks for coming in today, Blake.
Hi.
Blake Duncan is with EX Realty, and also a very big part of a revolutionary concept that is going on in the marketplace through his company called IntroLend, and we're going to get into a little bit more about that in a moment, but really just wanted to let all the listeners know a little bit more about Blake, what his bio is to some extent, and then we're going to kind of dive into this new revolutionary concept that's going to happen or is happening in the real estate market, and we're excited to have him tell us more about it and maybe to some listeners how they can get involved. So Blake, tell me a little bit about your story, about what you've done in your past life, and how you got to where you are today.
Oh, I appreciate you having me on here today, James.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my history background is kind of diverse, to say the least.
I love it.
So, like you have, athletic background growing up, and then was fortunate enough to maximize those opportunities and go to college and play sports. Mm-hmm. And then use that to go into education. I was a teacher and coach for 12 years, both coaching at the college level and the high school level, and really enjoyed doing that. Took a lot of the different types of life skills you learn in athletics and applied and taught them back to kids, kind of like my coach and teacher did to me. Really enjoyed doing that. Then just decided to do something else somewhere else, and I moved from Georgia to Nashville. And it was the first time I'd lived in a quote unquote major city. Growing up, always been small towns, so to speak, and moved up here knowing just a couple of people. And right after I moved up here, they both moved back home to Georgia. And so I knew one person and was in restaurant management at that time, continuing that diverse background, and just used my teaching and coaching skills into the restaurant business world. Then I met my wife now 8 years ago, and we got married in 2013, and it's been a blessing beyond compare in my entire life.
Awesome.
And that led me into real estate. I'd been around real estate my whole life because I have family that's been in real estate for 25 years from as a cousin, and an aunt that's been doing it for almost 40 years. And so I knew a lot about real estate just from listening to them talk, having conversations. But when I met Mickey, she kind of was having a fun day one morning, had 6 clients that needed to see houses, and turned around and looked at me and said, I can't show all these people at one time. You got to go get your license.
That's right.
Okay. So went and got my license and did that 4 years ago, and now I'm here.
Well, we're excited to have you. I know you and Mickey have been doing a lot of great things in the real estate market, and obviously your personal growth. And so, listen, I came to you probably about a year ago with a concept, and a concept that we basically, if I remember correctly, we're sitting in a hotel lobby, not even in a conference room of any magnitude. And matter of fact, I don't even think we had drinks there of any kind. We had a whiteboard, and we're totally whiteboarding out a concept that turned into reality. And it's called IntroLend.
Yeah.
And IntroLend is a mortgage company within EXP that between Blake and I, we helped bring to fruition. But really, Blake was the spearhead game changer that changed this whole concept and brought it to reality within EXP by not only starting out on a state level, but a global level or a national level. So tell the audience a little bit about how IntroLend works on a very generic sense, in how that's a different revenue stream for real estate agents, and especially within EXP.
Yeah, so oddly enough, when you brought that to us, to me, a year ago this month.
Yeah, actually.
We went to that hotel and we were just enthralled with the simplicity and the magnitude that this platform could impact the whole entire industry. And here we are rolling about 60 days in, and that version gets pulled out from under us, not realizing that it was a different version being worked on. And the gentleman that created the whole thing, Dave Zitting, I called him. I said, "Dude, what are you doing? You can't do this to him. We're ready to go." And he's like, "No, trust me, I've got something better." I said, "There's no way. There's no way it's something better." Yeah. And so, oddly enough, he was right. It was a better version, and the reason why was number one, he had spent a significant amount of money per hour to a attorney's firm out of Washington D.C. That's a very reputable RESPA attorney office, and they spent almost 4 full months, like nonstop. That's all they did, and they fine-tooth combed it and vetted it out completely. And so the second version that he got was actually a compliant version that can just be blanketed across the whole country now. And so we fast forward to that time, and he and I get on just a conference call, and we spent 90 minutes going over the platform. So back up to October, I started learning everything about it because I was so enthralled with it, so amazed by it, and just saw the impact it was going to have. It's kind of I imagined it kind of being like the guy sitting in Zuckerberg's room in Harvard, seeing Facebook like, yeah, I'm in, or being in the garage with Wozniak and Jobs saying, yeah, I'm in on Apple. I just saw this being some huge, impactful kind of thing of a tool for agents, and so he allows us to lets me just start learning the whole thing from the ground up, and I just got eyeball deep with it. And then fast forward to March of this year, and our executive vice president at the time, who's now our CEO of the company, Jason Gessing, he comes to town with another news kind of release thing that they're doing through the company. And him and another gentleman from the company are here in Nashville, and I literally don't remember a word they say. And I don't say that disrespectful. I had this conversation in my head with Jason.
Yeah, you were replaying
about how am I going to say this to him? I explain this to him. Is he going to think I'm a complete nut, or is he going to love it? And so 90 minutes later, he's done. I'm like, I tell my broker, I got to get him in the office right now. I've got to talk to him before I lose my I'm getting nervous about it. I'm either going to lose my head on this and blow it up, or it's going to be a home run or a strikeout kind of thing. And when I showed it to Jason, his first words were, "Is this for real?" And I said, "It's absolutely for real." Mm-hmm. Long story short, it stopped EXP from developing an entire mortgage company to use this platform instead, because it allowed the agents to be able to keep their lender relationships and just bring those lenders into this platform and continue to use those and keep business going as usual, which I thought was the biggest component of just being simplified but yet powerful at the same time. So simple. Keep the same relationship you have with your lenders, but yet you're going to be able to just make a much more impacting in the business you have, more streamlined, more simplified, and the clients are more engaged. It just is a beautiful all-around process.
Yeah, so to all the listeners out there, a little bit, and to those real estate agents that are out there, the way the concept works is essentially real estate agents can plug their leads into a platform.
Yeah, through a phone app.
Through a phone app. It's a very simple process. Leads that they have nurtured or brought to the table out of their normal book of business. It goes into a finance manager within IntroLend that helps call that client on the agent's behalf and represent the agent on their behalf, and cultivates that lead by taking a full application on them, getting the income docs, getting the asset docs, basically pre-qualifying them enough to where it will go out to bid up to 2 to 3 lenders, right?
Yeah.
And What's awesome from a lender perspective is the lenders themselves are receiving a full mortgage application from the finance manager of IntroLend, and they have the opportunity to bid on winning or earning that business on the agent's behalf of the client.
Yep.
And but from a lender's perspective, they are only paying for that mortgage application if and when the loan closes or they get awarded.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what's awesome. And most lenders out there have marketing agreements and different things with brokerages where they never may get anything in return at all other than a bunch of lead opportunities that may not pan out for anything. The uniqueness of this platform is it's not a lead. It's actually a mortgage application coming to the lender for bid. If you
create an asset, yeah,
and if you win the bid, you close the bid, then you pay a certain percentage back to IntroLend. And as an agent, if you have participated in the investment group, then you will get a dividend pro rata share on a quarterly basis from that. So it's a different revenue stream for doing your normal day-to-day business. Expand on that a little bit more if I left anything out.
So a couple of things that are really unique about the whole thing is, it's a collaboration between the agent and that finance manager. They're more like an associate than an assistant, I should say. You're not just dropping off your client to the finance manager saying, "Hey, James, here's my client. Let me know when they're ready." It's completely opposite. It's, "Hey, here's my client. I've already instructed them on what you need. Now, as an agent, I'm going to go select the specific lenders out of this directory that we have that meet the specific need of that client. I'm not going to grab just any lender to talk to the client. I'm grabbing one out of that directory that meets the need, because the client is let's say, for example, an FHA, first-time home buyer. Well, I'm not going to go get a jumbo specialist to talk to them. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get just those FHA, most highly rated and qualified people to talk to my client, and I get to choose who those people are that are talking to them. Now the client gets to interview those 3 lenders that I choose and choose which one they want to do business with. So if I choose, Sam, Billy, and Joe, and Joe just happened to having a bad day, but he has the best rate, he may win it still. Billy may have the best rate, but is not on his A game today, and Joe wins it because Joe's got the most professionalism on the phone, and that wins him over, and he may be just a smidge of a point higher over on the rate. Mm-hmm. It all boils down to what the client decides that they want as the one getting the loan. They're a little more, it's more interactive, which I think is really, really awesome for the client to be more interactive. They're learning more about the whole process. They're involved in choosing the lender. And I've already made sure that they get to have quality people they talk to, not just anybody, which I think makes it just a better experience overall.
Yeah, so we have been working on this a long time together.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm extremely excited, not only for my personal business, but also I'm excited for EXP and of course you and Mickey, you've been on the ground floor of it. And as we are going through all the pilot right now here in Tennessee, it's being also rolled out in other states. Explain that a little bit further.
So we in the last 6 months since, after they had that March meeting with Jason, fast forward about 2.5 or 3 weeks later, we had a cloud conference meeting with all the executives from EXP, all the executives from Avenue, the company that created IntroLend, and Dave Zitting and his crew, and me. Yeah. So here's me, this little old agent over here that's kind of just made introductions, and I just get to kind of sit back and listen to this whole conversation take place. Well, the questions are going back and forth, explanations are going back and forth, and the owner of EXP, Glenn Sanford, he just finally asked just literally 2 questions to Dave, and when he got done listening to the answer, he says, "Okay, well, we're in. Just let us know what we need to do." And I was just floored, because they were literally looking at developing their own mortgage company, right, similar to other way other companies have done it. And so instead of spending those millions of dollars and creating those liabilities and the frustrations of forcing a use of a mortgage company, they adopted this platform instead, which allowed them to say, hey, you the agent, bring your lender to this platform. They can come join in. Doesn't cost them anything to do that. And that's just been now 6 months later, we have Colorado, Texas, Tennessee, and Florida already active in the platform. We've got 9 other states that are onboarding this quarter. We've got another 11 states onboarding in Q1 next year. And the goal is to have all 50 states active by the end of the year next year if we can make all the licensing things happen. But it's just been a phenomenal watching this whole thing play out, learning it all. It's an ever-evolving thing. It's not like it's set in stone. So every time we do process another client through the platform, we learn something from that experience, and we're listening to the finance managers, we're listening to the agents, we're listening to the lenders, how it all worked, what were the issues, and we just keep tweaking it and moving it forward to where what's going to end up happening, it's going to get fine-tuned into a, for lack of a better phrase, a perfect machine, and it's just going to start cranking. And when that happens, I'm really looking forward to seeing how things grow.
Yeah, I think you and I both have had big vision thinking. We've had lots of conversations about how this is, in our mind, was going to play out.
Yeah.
It's taken a different twist and turn, and some things have definitely taken a leap beyond our imagination.
Absolutely.
And so that all in itself creates excitement but it does start with a vision, a vision of what we thought could become a reality. So to the listeners out there, that's kind of the message and the purpose of this conversation today, is a cradle to grave type of vision. It's taking an idea that was literally written on a piece of paper, or in this case on a whiteboard in a hotel lobby, and having the vision to carry it through, be persistent and consistent, because those are two different things. And so that's obviously my opinion. What do you think? You have your own vision, and you had your own ideas, and your wheels were turning as soon as I presented it to you a year ago. And did you ever think it was going to turn into what it has?
I did. When I saw it, I actually, we go back to that meeting in October last year. I actually asked the state broker of Tennessee to come to that meeting. And as we were going through listening to Mike do the presentation on the whiteboard, I just looked at him and said, I don't know what EXP is going to say about this. I said, we've got to do this. There's no way we can miss this bus. And he looked at me and he just said, you're absolutely right. We both agreed that it was that impactful of a tool for agents. And, you think about how things start and how they evolve and how they end up. It's all a guessing game. But I literally saw this thing playing out the way it has so far. I guess this is the over ambition, because I'm always the eternal optimist. I thought we'd have more states in by now, but strategically, it's probably better that we don't, because we can work out a few of the kinks that are going to find through the whole process anyway, and get them worked out before the masses come in. So that's the old football mentality of just go big, go home, go hard right now, and don't worry about it. We'll figure it out later. But Dave is a little more calculated in the rollout process, and he's very strategic about all that in the step-by-step process, where he's wanting to crawl, walk, and run, where I'm wanting to walk, jog, sprint, and so he keeps everything a lot more controlled, and that's great having him as that leader in that role.
Yeah, any entrepreneur out there, I would say, has that kind of mentality where their vision is so strong that they don't want to crawl. They want to jump right into being at the very end of the finish line and see what that result is of what they've manifested. So with IntroLend, where do you see that company in the next 5 years in itself, and how do you see that impacting the industry as a whole?
Man, I'm telling you, if it does half of what I think it is capable of doing, it'll be in all 50 states over the next 12 to 18 months. That I'm pretty certain of. the impact it'll have in an agent's business, the sky's the limit kind of thing with that, really. You mentioned the dividend aspect of it. We as agents are the consumer point of entry. We bring the business to the table, and then we create the strategic partnerships with title companies and with lenders and things to make our business work. This platform is still doing all that, but what it's doing is it's basically that dividend from the lender paying that small basis points fee back to IntroLend for creating that asset and that mortgage application. It's a collective whole, the way EXP's got it going, of all the states that are active at that time in that 90-day period, like for this quarter will be Colorado, Texas, Tennessee, and Florida. Those deals that go through the platform in those 4 states only this quarter will create that dividend. Now, the agent doesn't just get money. They're having to invest into a platform. They're investing, just like they're buying, similar to buying a stock. They're having to put money up on their own.
So they're skin in the game.
They're skin in the game on this. So that dividend is going to come back every 90 days.
So let me just interrupt you there. So when we say there's skin in the game, how do you think that changes how this platform works versus your just everyday agents on the street, sending their lead opportunities to their preferred lender or strategic partner?
I think.
How does it change the game now that they have skin in the game?
Well, I think they pay a little bit more attention to detail now. I think with this platform, you're going to not, just blow off a potential candidate that could possibly be a lead.
Have a more qualified lead.
Yeah, or I see a lot of agents. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh yeah, somebody come up. I knew they couldn't do nothing." Well, now you're like, "Nope, I'm gonna let my finance manager help me figure out they can or can't do nothing," because part of the process in the IntroLend platform is maybe they can't. We'll work with them until they can, and they keep them in that forward posture. So now you're not losing leads that fly off on the wayside. There, you're going to have a constant, funnel of business staying right there in your hand. It's because it's in your phone, and I think that's where they're going to having that skin in the game. Now they're going to pay more attention to detail about getting a person qualified, because it's not just buyers; it's also listings. Because, for example, this is a great example. We had a meeting today for marketing, and let's say I have a Mr. and Miss Jones that want to list their house and sell it. Sometimes this happens. Looking for houses, they don't find anything they like. So what they're going to do is instead just renovate the house they had, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if I've got them already into the IntroLend platform, I've already got them pre-qualified for a home improvement loan.
Yeah, I think that brings up a good point. One of the things about the IntroLend platform is not only can real estate agents get paid on purchase transactions, now their pipeline can also reciprocate into receiving revenue for refinance transactions.
Exactly.
Something that's never been done in the industry.
Yep.
Never has a real estate agent been able to receive compensation for a refinance transaction, and now they don't, with this platform, there's nothing that they need to do. It's just when the
client's ready.
When the client's ready and the time clock or the ticker goes off that says, hey, this client wants to refinance, it's automatically tagged to the referring agent, and will then in turn go back through the whole process.
Yep.
And revenue obviously generated through IntroLend in doing something the agent never really had to touch.
And let me say, for the people
cool.
that are listening to this, that there might be an agent or somebody out there kind of freaking out right now.
Sure.
We have a 28-page opinion letter from Buckley LP out of Washington, D.C.
Glad you brought that up.
That has gone through this thing with a fine-tooth comb. The 4 categories that this platform falls up under, they all 4 rank very low risk. This is the lowest possible ranking you can get when it comes to being arrested for violation. So we have already got this stuff vetted out. There is no arm's reach transaction here. There's no money coming directly to an agent for any one particular deal. It is a collection of all deals of an entire quarter of all EXP sales that go through from the active states, and then that money is split between the investment group and EXP corporate. So I want to preface everybody know that this is not something we're doing illegal. This is a very legal thing that we have spent months and thousands upon thousands of dollars per hour to get done correctly. That I'm telling you, this is nothing illegal. I want to make sure we preface that because somebody's going to wonder what's going on here.
I think we on both sides of the coin, and from the lender perspective, these are basically considered third-party origination type of transactions. The finance manager within IntroLend is taking the 6 key elements of a mortgage application, and they're literally sending out for bid that mortgage application that has been originated by IntroLend, and we are paying compensation as a third-party origination for an application, not a lead.
Correct. Which is similar to what the
very critical information. Thank you for bringing that up. And of course, anybody that wants to know more about how IntroLend works, Blake, how they get in touch with you?
The easiest way is either through cell phone or email. My email is bduncan@introlend.com. It's INTROLEND.com. Or you can call me 615-926-2195. Again, we really look forward to continue to develop this. This is an ever evolving platform. It's, I tell people all the time, it's going to be new for the next 5 years, if not longer, because it's such a concept. It's like social media. 10 years ago, social media was an infant.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of where IntroLend is now, and in 10 years from now, I mean, it's going to be across the country. And who knows who has it by then?
I think that in the industry, the real estate market or the brokerages or the real estate companies have always, that's the trend right now. They want to get into the mortgage company, or the mortgage opportunity or revenue aspect, and it's really, I think a real big part of it is they just see they see the need for wanting to help control the overall transaction. Mm-hmm. No different than within my mortgage company. I want to control the entire process from start to finish. That's why I have my own underwriter. That's why I have my own closer, so I can completely control it. So I get why, not only monetarily speaking, but I also understand why real estate companies now want to try to be in control of that transaction to some degree. So this platform certainly is revolutionary because it does not exist anywhere today. I'm excited to be on the ground floor of it. I know you are. This is officially launched. We are in prototype beta stage in Tennessee, but it has been announced nationwide with EXP. They are the biggest company, I think it's safe to say, that is using this platform. There are a couple other brick and mortar type locations out west that are experimenting with it, trying it, but not near as big as EXP.
Correct.
So if you're interested, if anybody out there is interested in hearing more about how IntroLend works, whether it be with EXP or even with another real estate brokerage, right?
Yeah. There's some opportunities for other brokerages to be involved with IntroLend. I will say, not only is it the company trying to, like you mentioned, have their hands on the whole transaction from cradle to grave, so to speak, but they also, this platform by design is also to improve the engagement by your client. Because the typical situation is, Mr. and Miss Smith, I send them to you, and you take care of their loan, and then we go find houses and we go to close. That's what we do, right? But in this situation, I'm now communicating them with a finance manager to get them pre-qualified. I'm going to get lenders that they get to interview now. And so now that's going to make these lenders kind of be on their A game all the time. And now the client's going to benefit from that, a huge benefit.
Yeah, so really what you're talking about is what are the wins? Yeah. What are the wins that we see and out of this whole platform? So we have a win because the agent has some control with the finance manager of sending their lead opportunity and having a relationship with that finance manager. Yeah. The agent also has a win because their client is getting 2 to 3 bid opportunities for the best possible loan program and rate.
Yep.
And terms. The real
and professionalism.
Yes. And
so that person that just, for lack of it, is a butthole because they're having a bad day. Well, in the typical setting, they got to just deal with that. But when they're interviewing, and they're having that bad day, you better get your A game on, because you're going to lose. There's 2 other guys going to get, or ladies going to get a chance to bid on the same loan. It's not just yours now. So it makes everybody's in the lending business have to raise their game up and keep it there at all times.
Yeah, and one of the other things the agent wins from is another revenue stream. The company itself, EXP, it's a revenue stream.
Yep.
Lenders that participate, it's an at-bat, and more of an at-bat, because now they're getting mortgage applications with agents they may or may not know personally.
That's the one that really is, I think, is the hidden gem in the whole thing for the lender's perspective. Most agents have 1, maybe 2 lenders that they work with at any given time. And now, as you bring that agent into this platform, as you bring that lender into this platform as the agent, you still get to pump that lender up to your other agents inside the. So with EXP, like for Tennessee, we have 550 agents in the state. Well, if you're only working with, say, 2 or 3 different agents from EXP,
right,
you're now getting an opportunity to work with 547 others.
Right.
So
this is pretty cool. This is an interesting
that's
thing,
what
too.
To me is like, man, I now, because I know we've worked with you for over a year now, and so knowing that I get to impact your business by helping you get exposure to 549 other agents, I'm going to do all I can to do that. Now, whether you get business or not is not on me; it's on you. I'm going to hold my responsibility to the exposure. I'm going to help you do that, and that's what is beautiful. It's like, hey, I'm going to help you get those opportunities, and I can't do any more than that.
That's more than just the opportunity, too. It's about the accountability. It's about the checks and balances.
Yep.
There's going to be a rating system. Typical or similar to
Yelp
or whatever.
That 5-star rating. So as you go through
Uber.
these deals, as you go through every deal, the client gets to rate the entire process, especially the lender. And so when they go to the director's going to have their ratings on there. So when you say you have just one lender you work with, well, if I need a specific lender, I get to go to the finance manager and say, hey, who's the highest rated jumbo person we got? I need 2 of them.
Yeah.
Or hey, who's the highest VA person we got? Because I've got one I've already brought in, and I've got my champion lender in the process, and I need a 3rd one. Who's the most highest rated? So the person that does good work, that cream's going to rise to the crop, and they're going to get more business just automatically. And which brings me to another point about the champion lender that I want to make very clear to people about this process. There's a lender for each state that's called a champion lender, and that champion lender is pre-vetted by Avenue and by EXP to say, hey, this is a quality professional person that does all the different types of loans, that is a proponent for this platform, that is willing to educate you, educate your client, and walk you through as slow as you need to go, and do everything you need to have happen to make sure you're comfortable step by step and not worry about a thing to ever happen. And I'm proud to say that you are the champion lender here in the state of Tennessee and a couple other states. But I think it's just crucial to know that when you have that in your back pocket as an agent, that's some peace of mind there that I'm like, man, I've got somebody that's that high quality, whether I know them or not. As an agent in Tennessee, that's an automatic. Hey, I'm going to pull this person in that my client's taken care of, and I'm proud to say that that you are that champion lender.
Yeah, it's certainly been a fun ride, and we look forward to what's going to happen here in the near future. And probably the biggest question I get asked is why do you want to compete? Why do you want to compete with 2 or 3 other lenders, and why would you want to be engaged in that type of scenario? It's a cutthroat business out there. We all know it. But my answer simply is I'm competing anyway. And if I'm not confident in my product and services and my ability to win over or sell a client, then I probably maybe not need to be doing what I'm doing. But it's really about the opportunities. It's really about opportunities that I would never get in Chattanooga or Knoxville or
Memphis
Memphis, because I don't have the opportunities to meet those agents, and this platform brings all that together. What are some other wins that you see out of this other than what I've maybe talked about? And then also, man, IntroLend's going to be a lot bigger than mortgage transactions.
It is.
And there's some other spokes of the wheel that might come from
like,
being
for
involved
example,
in IntroLend.
I'll give you a couple of examples of the benefit that IntroLend's going to be providing. Right now we have just what's called fast track. That's just where you basically are fast tracking your person through this process. That's not speeding anything up, but it's just saying this, Mr. and Ms. Smith, we're going to fast track you. In other words, we're going straight to the finance manager. We're going to start uploading documents. We're going to get you pre-qualified as fast as possible, and here's the steps to do so. But let's say Mr. and Ms. Smith has some credit issues. Well, we're going to have a concierge service that's going to take care of them for that client, take care of that client's needs. They're tagged with the agent's name and cell phone number, so they never lose them inside the process ever. They always are tagged with them. So once the concierge service takes care of them for us, they call you back, Mr. and Ms. Smith's ready to go. Boom, it's right back to the fast track step one. Same thing with the data service. The data service, just like right now, if I was to say I'm thinking about buying a Chevy truck, it's going to pop up on Facebook because they do data collection, right?
Right.
Well, Avenue has a data collection system that keeps track of your clientele through your phone app, through your CRM. And if Mr. and Ms. Smith or Mr. and Ms. Jones is looking to be a buyer or a seller, they're going to have the data points for that, and they're going to rank your CRM from 1 to 10. So if you see somebody that's a 7, 8, 9, or 10, they're in a very good position to be in that buyer or listing scenario. So those
I think that's huge. I think that is huge. I mean, we all want that instant gratification of the next deal, but what about all the clients that said, oh, I've got to wait 6 months, oh, I need to get my credit up, oh, I've got to get a different job.
Right.
That's a nurturing type of lead that most commission-based individuals will just lose track of.
Yeah.
They'll lose track of the follow-up. They'll lose track of that. Maybe they don't have a good system of managing those leads, whether it's handwritten, whether it's putting your reminders in Outlook or whatever their forum is. So now they lose all the work they put into a lead just because they can't do it today. But what about tomorrow? And so this concierge service is awesome.
Yeah, it's going to keep them in a forward posture. They're going to
be working for them while
they're going to be
sleeping.
holding their hand to a degree, so that you as the agent don't have to hold their hand and keep them in a it's going to be fine. The concierge service is going to do that for you. Keep them in a forward posture. Keep them going down the path. There's a specific path I'll take them down. Then all of a sudden they're sitting there to 620, 650, 680, and now you can take them right back to the agent, and boom, you go right back to the fast track. It's just a process, and it's a secondary part of the process for those clients, to where we don't want to slow down. We can just keep. So when I pass them off to the concierge service, who is part of the company, who's going to take care of those people, I get to go get new business. I don't have to babysit not that I don't mind taking care of my client, but I'm going to put my client in a better hand than what I can do. So let's do that and let that concierge service take care of them. It just makes it better for them.
Yeah. So we could talk about this for a long time. There is so much to it, but this is not necessarily a go big or go home for you as an individual, even though it will be.
Oh, eventually, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of putting in your time and investing into this ground floor opportunity. But the go big or go home moment right here to the audience really is, man, this is something, if you are the slightest bit interested in real estate, mortgage transactions, or a lender, man, you need to reach out to Blake and get a little bit more information about EXP, about IntroLend, and how this may be a game changer for you if you're currently in the business or want to get into the business because this is pretty cool stuff, and it may take the pressure off of you starting up or transitioning into a full-time real estate professional versus being it in one of our previous episodes as a hobby. Well, I think that's great.
Yeah, this is what I would say to somebody that's listening, and think about what did you do before social media? You don't know what a day's like without social media.
We don't know.
You remember what you used to do because you had to go and when I think about when I was a teenager, that big long cord, I'd walk around the corner to talk to your friends or girlfriend or whatever. So that's from the kitchen phone. Well, you don't have cords anymore. So now you don't know what it's like not to have a phone anymore.
Right.
Well, what's it going to be like in 5 to 10 years when you don't know what it's like to not have IntroLend? Because IntroLend is going to be that big, and that's why that's how I see it.
Right.
And so I tell these agents that I talk to now, I'm like, it almost becomes an IQ test. Once you know there's something out there that can make an impact for you, and it's only a positive impact, there's no negative downside to it. Once you know that's there, and you choose not to use it, and then you can not so much complain, but you wonder why it's not going as well as it could. Well, it's because of the choices you're making. And not that it's the savior of all real estate, but if it can put an extra $1 in your pocket and it's simple to use and you choose not to, okay, then you don't have to. Don't. But
I think it becomes the Kleenex of the industry on how we move forward, at least for the next 5 or 10 years for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you just I looked at it when I saw it, and all I could think about was, man, how fast can I get this in the agent's hands? Mm-hmm. It's going to be that big for agents. And it's going to be that great for lenders. It's going to be that great for the company. There's nothing but positives across the board. It's just constant wins. And when agents, and I'll give a little bit of credit where credit's due. Dave Zitting has put this together to the aspect of it's going to be that big, impactful. And so I don't try to push EXP so much about this platform. It's just, let me tell you about the platform, and it just happens to be with the EXP.
Sure.
So come learn about the platform, because there's opportunities for other agencies, brokerages and whatnot that could eventually use that.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, don't think this is about an EXP pitch. This is about IntroLend. I just happen to be with EXP and happen to see it. If I was with another company and saw it, I'd have been the same way. I would still be that passionate about this platform from a mortgage perspective.
Yeah, duly noted. Well, man, it's always good to talk with you. Again, we could talk for hours. I appreciate you coming in here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We love to hear stories on Go Big or Go Home. And, man, I wish the best of luck to you, and we appreciate you being here today. Again, Blake Duncan, and your email address, again, is sblake.
Nope, that's my personal one.
No, we don't want that one.
Nope, it's bduncan at IntroLend.com, INTROLEND.com.
All right, thanks everyone for listening to us today. We'll see you next time on Go Big or Go Home.
Thanks, James.
Have a great day.
Primary Residential Mortgage, Inc., NMLS 3094. James Harper, Division Manager, Primary Residential Mortgage, Hendersonville, Tennessee. NMLS 71317. 131 Saundersville Road, Suite 140, Hendersonville, Tennessee 37075. Primary Residential Mortgage, Inc. is an equal housing lender. Some products and services may not be available in all states. Credit and collateral are subject to approval. Terms and conditions apply. Programs, rates, terms, and conditions are subject to change and are subject to borrower's qualifications.